And welcome back, everybody. John Federesi is our guest. John is Observer-Dispatch writer, mainly sports. He's been doing that since 1972. Hard to believe, huh, when you think about it? 1972. Right out of where you were still at Hamilton College, right?
No. I taught at New Hartford Junior High School for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was not your cup of tea?
Apparently not.
And did you do any, when you were at Hamilton, did you do any writing at all?
Oh, yeah. I was nominally the sports editor of the Hamilton Spectator, the college paper. Basically, that meant I made sure that we had somebody covering football, basketball, whatever, and I wrote a column once a week. So I had a little experience. The Hamilton paper is a once-a-week paper. It's not like the Daily Orange in Syracuse, which is actually a separate entity from the university.
Like a corporation.
Oh yeah,
itself.
absolutely, yeah. So I had a little bit of experience doing that kind of thing when I was in college.
One more baseball question. When you were covering the Blue Sox, did you have occasion to meet Roger Kahn?
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, many times. Roger and I actually mentioned in the book a couple of times, Good Enough to Dream. I wasn't entirely pleased with the
coverage.
I thought he was a little off in what actually happened in a couple of incidents, you know. But it was generally.
He took a little license.
I don't know. Maybe his memory failed him a little bit. You know,
yeah.
But it was nothing serious. You know, Roger and I got along very, very well. I saw Roger just about every day of the year that year.
Great writer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a well-read man. You know, he wanted to produce literature rather than he wasn't your typical sports book kind of guy. You know?
Is it the? I'm trying to remember the story from the book. Was that accurate that when he came to town, I hope it's accurate because I think it's a great story, about how the title of the book came to be. He asked Joanne Gerace, who was the general manager of the team at the time, how good are these guys? And she said, they're good enough to dream.
That's my understanding.
Yeah.
That's my understanding. It's a great story, you know.
Yeah.
But that is my understanding.
Yeah. The and the classic that he had, of course, was Boys of Summer, right?
Right.
Brooklyn
Dodgers, right?
Yeah.
And which was many years before, you know. But that team, if you remember, they were regarded as bandits by the rest of the league. They were not affiliated with a major league team. Their players were actually they had a couple of guys on that team ended up playing the major leagues. Well, at least one. Romano played in the major leagues briefly, was a pretty good hitter, and then there was a great relief pitcher, Ray Moretti, who died a few years ago. He was from British Columbia. He, at the end of the season, was just magnificent. He'd come in and throw hard and throw inning after inning, and but they had a collection of some people would say has-beens and never were's, you know. And a few in-betweeners, but they had a lot of talented ball players on that team. Jim Gaddis, the manager, was a former, you know, like high draft choice himself and a hard driver, you know. So there were a lot of funny things that happened with that team. I remember them playing the Little Falls Mets, and one of the guys from the Mets hit the ball out in the stadium in Little Falls, and the ball hit the Marlboro man beyond the left field fence. It bounced back, and the Blue Sox played it as if it was in play, and they threw to second base. The guy slid into second base, and the umpires threw to the double, and they never scored. And then the next inning, one of the Blue Sox did the same thing, but this time it was a home run. And I think they won in a very close game. And if you remember, they only won the pennant by half a game. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a funny, ridiculous odd thing that happened, and there were a great many of those
Yeah.
things.
When you were talking about that, I was thinking of the movie Bull Durham, stuff that happens in the minor leagues. Hockey, you're at all the hockey games. You're in the press box. Are we going to have a season?
Good question. Now I mean, it's so cloudy right now. The NHL is talking about starting their season January 4th. I don't see how the AHL can start before the NHL, given the way the training camps line up, and many of your AHL players obviously are going to be in the NHL training camps, and it's really murky right now. I think they will play, but it might even be later in January.
One of the things that has been on my mind is, you go to church and you have separation. You go to a restaurant, you have separation. I don't see how they can have separation at the auditorium.
No.
I mean, you've got season ticket holders. On one side of me, in my seats, are the mayor and his wife. On the other side of me are a couple who, both sides have had season tickets for years.
Right.
So
how
what
are you
going to
separate that? And the majority of seats are season tickets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So another thing is, how do you separate? I can't even imagine people staying 6 feet apart at concession stands.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah. Right.
That concourse.
Or trying to get into the men's room or ladies' room. You know. So, yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. You're shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, those kinds of things. I mean, like, I don't know how you manage that. I really don't. I mean, it's, this has been very difficult for all kinds of sports and, I mean, society in general.
Yeah.
I mean, and here's another thing. I find it so odd that, you had like the Buffalo Bills and Tennessee Titans had to delay their game to a Tuesday night because the Titans had a bunch of positive tests. Then the Bills have none. Another team has none. And are they doing the same things? Or is one guy screwing up? And it's very, 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 very difficult. Very difficult. And you know what? Like people say, well, the games aren't important. But in a lot of ways, as far as financially, they are obviously important. But also, like, I'm telling you, without hockey, if there's no hockey all winter, it's going to be a long, dark winter in Utica, New York. It is.
Well, one of the things I've always told people is that one of the things that gets me through I'm not a winter enthusiast. One of the things that gets me through the winter is hockey, local hockey.
Absolutely.
John Pederesi is our guest. We're talking sports. Short break, right back.